Inspirational Learning, a place where you can come to and learn how to. How to in business, formats, science, math, financial, tech, and more. Let Inspirational Learning teach you.
Welcome back to Inspirational Learning, where we're glad to have you back. Today we'll be multiplying and dividing integers, which we kind of covered what integers were in previous videos, which are integers are best represented as any number that are on the number line. That's a whole number. So let's go ahead and multiply and divide some integers. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with two integers, and simply I'm gonna put what is the multiplication solution to -4 and a +5. So we will implement one of our rules here. We have a negative number multiplying versus a positive number. Anytime that you multiply a negative number and a positive number, it equals a negative number. So -4 times -5, our solution is going to be negative first, and then we have to figure out what is 4 times 5. Well, 4 times 5 is just 5 adding itself 4 times against one another. So we have 5 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5, which gives us our solution of 20. So our solution will be -20 for -4 times 5. Now, let's look at a slightly different rule that includes a negative integer and another negative integer. So what is the solution of -10 times -8? -10 times -8 is two negative numbers, two negative integers multiplying by one another. So anytime that you have a negative number multiplied by another negative number, it equals a positive number. So -10 times -8, our solution is just going to be a +80. And the reason why it's a +80, because we can do this either way. We can add 8 10s together, or we can add 10 8s together to get our solution of 80. Now moving on to dividing integers, is pretty simple, sort of like these equations. Dividing an integer is going to go simply the same way. The rules of negatives and positives apply the exact same way to dividing integers. So let's go ahead and write what is, let's see, 50 divided by -5. What would that solution be? Well, we notice that 50 is a positive integer and -5 is a negative integer. When we look for that solution, we know that, hey, according to our rule, negative and a positive, anytime that they are multiplied or divided against one another or by one another, the solution is going to be negative. So 50, which is our positive integer, divided by -5 is going to be a negative solution, and 50 divided by 5 will be 10. So our solution is going to be -10. -10. Now let's try to divide two negative integers by one another. So let's take -16 divided by -4. Let's place them in some nice parentheses for a change so you all can see the problem a little bit better. So -16 divided by -4, our rule pops in and say, hey, anytime I have a negative number that is multiplied or divided by another negative number that's actually going to give us a positive number. That positive number is how many times can 4 divide into 16? And that will be 4. It will be 4. So negative 16 divided by negative 4 is simply 4. And that covers the basis regarding dividing and multiplying integers. Now let's throw something fun into it, like an absolute value. The absolute value of negative 20 divided by negative 5. Now you evaluate this equation and you will say, hey, I have 2 negatives. Don't our rule apply that the solution will be a negative solution or a positive solution? Sorry about that. So you would think that, hey, I have 2 negatives, so it will be a positive solution. Well, not quite. Here we have to take the absolute value of negative 20. So that means on a number line, how many units is that negative 20 away from 0? And this negative 20 is exactly 20 units. Is exactly 20 units away from the number 0. Therefore, I rewrite it as a positive 20 divided by negative 5. Divided by negative 5. So how many times can negative 5 go into a positive 20? Well, it's divided into it by a negative 4 times. A negative 4 times. So make sure you be careful to look at your signs, but when it comes to absolute values, take the absolute value of whether it's a positive or negative number, then complete your equation. And that concludes our subject of today. Thank you for tuning in to Inspirational Learning. Thank you for learning with us at Inspirational Learning. If you enjoyed this lesson and found it helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe to our channel.